Hey guys, this is Kevin from Jaztime.com, and today we'll be doing a comparison between the Rolex GMT-Master II, reference number 116710LN, versus the Panerai Luminor GMT, reference number PAM88. We'll be going over the price, dials, bezel, case, crown, bracelet, class, and the movement towards the end of the video. Okay, so for the pricing, as of January 2017, you can get this at a Rolex retailer for $8,450. At Jaztime.com, we sell it for as low as $7,250. For the PAM88, or the Panerai Luminor GMT, you can get this at an authorized Panerai retailer for $7,500, or you can get it at Jaztime for $4,200. Okay. Hopefully with this video, you can justify that $3,000 price difference between the Rolex and the Panerai. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to comparing the dials. From the dials, you can both see that they're of course black dials. There's minor differences in each. For the Rolex, we have the circular with 3 index markers located at the 12, 9, and 6 o'clock positions. They are luminescent for up to 8 hours. The GMT hand is shown with a green hand with a triangle tip. For the hour hands, or for the hour and minute hands, we have a long minute hand with a Mercedes hour hand. And those are luminescent for up to 8 hours as well. The index markers are fashioned in 18 karat white gold to prevent any tarnishing. We have the date located at the 3 o'clock position with a Cyclops lens that sits on top of that sapphire crystal. And that's for magnification and easier viewing of that date. Okay. We also have the standard second hands that just goes around the dial. Moving on, for the Panerai, we have a few differences here. For the seconds hand, we have this sub-dial here at the 9 o'clock position that tracks the seconds, as opposed to the revolving seconds hand here on the left. For the hands, they are skeleton. They are tipped with an 8-hour tipped luminescent markers with 8-hour glow, but it's a skeletonized hand, so the inner portion of the revolutions aren't being blocked off, such as the second subdial, the date, and the Panerai name. As his hands go around, you can still see those between that skeletonized portion of the hands. For the hour markers, we just have simple painted hour markers. We have index, with only the Arabic being the 12 and the 6. And those markers are luminescent for up to 8 hours. The date is also located at the 3 o'clock position, but for the magnification, it's actually on the underside of the sapphire crystal. It doesn't sit on top, so it's a smooth sapphire crystal throughout. Let's go ahead and move on to the bezel now. For the bezel, for the Rolex, we have a nice black ceramic bezel with 24-hour gradation all around the bezel. Those gradations are platinum dusted, so the bezel on the Rolex has a much higher durability. It's also made, like I said, is made out of that ceramic, and the ceramic is very, very scratch resistant, so it's a very durable bezel, opposed to the Panerai's bezel, which is just a simple high polished steel bezel. One thing I want to mention as we move on to the case is that the steel that the Rolex uses, opposed to the Panerai, Rolex has an in-house made steel. It's called the 904L steel, which has much higher corrosion resistance, much better shine overall, easier to polish, and has a higher durability. Whereas the Panerai uses a industry standard AISI 316L polished steel. And it's just a very basic steel that most watch manufacturers use. Okay. So with that said, opposed from the bezels compared to each other, the ceramic is much more scratch resistant, whereas this Panerai's polished steel bezel is more susceptible to scratches, and it is domed upwards. So it adds a much higher profile to it. For the sizes of the watch, the Rolex is a 40 millimeter case. So that's from my finger to my thumb there. This 4 millimeter diameter case, whereas the Panerai, from my thumb to thumb, it is a 44 millimeter case. So a little bit larger. That little bit more. That extra 4 millimeters adds a little more readability to the dial, but still very clustered dial. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on to the sides of the case, because I want you to see the profiles. So here's the profiles of the watches. As you can see, the Panerai definitely has much more of a higher profile than the Rolex. I believe the Panerai is a 9.8 millimeter in thickness. So the Rolex is a little bit smaller. The Rolex, so if you're traveling a lot, wear dress shirts a lot, this will definitely fit into their suit cuffs very easily, very nicely. Whereas the Panerai is more of a showy watch, as this won't fit under suit cuffs very easily. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. Moving on to the crown, we have differences in the crown, of course. Our Rolex has a twin lock triple waterproofness system. It's a screw down crown with 2 crown guard protectors there. The Panerai has their patented crown guard protector, which is sort of a switch mechanism, as I can show you here. Pops off like that, and the crown can be adjusted. The crown can be used from there on, and it locks in very simply like that as well. I do want to mention that there is differences in the exact mechanics of the GMT functions when using the crown. For the Rolex, I'll go ahead and demonstrate that very quickly here. For the Rolex, we just unscrew the crown counterclockwise. This is currently in the hand setting position, in which you can wind, or rather, yes, the hand setting position, which you can wind the watch. A simple tug will allow you to use the quick hour jump system, as you can see there. The Mercedes hand moves to each hour marker, and 2 revolutions, of course, will change the date, as shown there. The actual GMT hand is moved by the final tug and bidirectionally moving the minute hand. As you can see there, the GMT hand moves as well. Okay. Whereas the Panerai, and go ahead and put this Rolex GMT down. The Panerai crown functions are a little bit different. The first tug is same hand setting position, lets you wind the watch. Oops, went a little too far. It's already in the hand setting position rather, which you can wind the watch here. Then that tug lets you adjust the date. As you can see there, very quickly, very easily adjust the date. So that's one. It's another nice little feature to have over. But that's going in a clockwise position, lets you set the date clockwise. But also a neat feature is when you go backwards, it lets you adjust the GMT hand, as you can see here. The 24-hour cycle is indicated in the inside of the bezel, whereas the Rolex's is indicated on the bezel itself. Another tug of the watch will let you adjust the hands bidirectionally, and it will also move the GMT hand as well. A little tricky, because then you'll have to move the hour hand to where you need it along with the minutes, and then you can adjust the GMT hand afterwards. Okay. So one last note before we move on to the bracelets is that because the GMT's rather not the GMT, but the 24-hour cycle is noted in the inside of the bezel, whereas on the Rolex it's actually adjustable in the bezel. Apologize. There you go. As you can see, the Rolex, you can actually turn the bezel left to the left or the right. It's bidirectional. You can actually track up to 3 time zones with the Rolexes instead. How that works is, let's just say you have the local time set to here at the 4 o'clock position, 4:55, 4:50 or so. You can actually set the GMT time, the GMT hand to where you need first. So actually, let me go ahead and show you. So let's just say we want the GMT hand at the 12 o'clock position. Okay, and let's just say I believe Egypt's 2 hours ahead. So let's say it's 2:55 right now. 2:55 right now. London time will be let's say 12 o'clock. You can actually track a third time zone by, let's just say, if the Philippines is 7 hours ahead, you can just simply move the bezel 7 hours ahead. And there you go. Now you're tracking the Philippines time. You can switch it back to the London time, which you knew was at the 12. And that allows for the extra functioning of the GMT. It's a little complicated. I don't believe you'll be using more than 2 time zones. As we move on now, we can go ahead and compare the bracelets. So, of course, obviously vastly different bracelets. For the Rolex, we have a oyster bracelet, which is made of a 3-piece links. We have a center high polish with satin finish brushed steel on the side edges, which adds a very nice contrast to the high polish and really brings more out of it. It patterns throughout the bracelet very nicely. Whereas the Panerai, we have a rubber strap, which has the Panerai name and logo on it. The clasp is a hidden butterfly deployment clasp, as you can see from under there. And you can pop it out simply just by pressing the side buttons here. One side will come off, and then the second side will come off. Has the official Panerai name engraved onto the clasp blade. Okay. Always make sure the bar side sets down first, so the next portion can sit on top of that and lock in very nicely. Okay, so very simple, very easy rubber strap. One thing I like to mention is that the tapering of the rubber strap is very nice. It definitely conforms to the wrist very nicely. Whereas the Rolex has sort of that same linkage throughout. Only the curving of the lugs really adds to the wrist. For the clasp portion, we have a simple safety oyster lock, as you can see there. Durable, very durable clasp with the Rolex name engraved onto, or rather embossed onto the clasp blade itself there. One thing I'd like to mention is the ability to adjust this 904L steel bracelet 5 millimeters inward or outward. So this is how it looks inward, and then this is how it looks outward. And that's to allow for breathing of the wrist. If it's a hot day, then you can adjust it for your wrist swelling up, or if it's a cold day, of course, vice versa. It's a very secure clasp, as you can see, with the folding portion, and then we have the safety lock that sits on top. Okay. Moving on, we're gonna go ahead and compare the movements now. Okay, so the Rolex has a very simple oyster case that houses the Rolex in-house GMT movement, which is the perpetual mechanical self-winding movement. The caliber is a 3186 caliber movement with a center hour, minute, seconds hand with a 24-hour display and independent rapid setting of the hour hand, as I've shown you before. The power reserve of the watch is 48 hours. Meaning you can put it down on a Friday, pick it up on a Sunday evening, and it'll still be keeping time perfectly fine. Okay. One thing I want to mention that the Rolex movement has over the Panerai movement is that the Rolex movement is not only is it COSC certified, which is a Swiss certification of timekeeping, it's also superlative chronometered, which is Rolex's own certification of -2 or +2 seconds gain or loss a day. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind as we move on to the Panerai's movement, which has just a simple flat case back with the Panerai name engraved onto it. We also have the water resistance located here with the little fish at 300 meters of water resistance. For For the water resistance, it's 300 meters for the Panerai, but for the Rolex, the water resistance of the Rolex is only 100 meters. So this Panerai has 200 more meters of water resistance over the Rolex. Movement wise, the Panerai houses a ETA 7750-P1, which they call the OP13 caliber movement. So this doesn't use an in-house movement. It gets its movements elsewhere. It only has a 42-hour power reserve opposed to that 48 from the Rolex. And it is COSC certified, which means that it has a loss of 4 seconds or a gain of 6 seconds daily. So Rolex is more precise in the timekeeping department opposed to the Panerai. Okay, so let me actually go ahead and show you these watches on my wrist now. Let's pop that open. Okay, very simple. So that's the GMT. Let me go ahead and show you the Panerai on the wrist now. Once again, pops open butterfly style. Okay, always, bar goes in first, and then the second portion of the watch comes down on top of that. Oops. Panerai is a little big, can't really turn my wrist too much as that crown protector kind of digs into my wrist. But that's how that watch looks. Okay. So if you're interested in purchasing any of these models for the lowest possible price, check out our website at jaztime.com. That's JAZTIME.com. We have the lowest prices guaranteed. We offer free shipping and a 1-year warranty. If you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe below. We got lots more to show you guys. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys soon.